Chapter 12. The Cost of Silence. Silence can be heavier than words. By the late 1990s and into 2000, I had already become accustomed to living a double life. On the surface, I was a student pursuing a career as a paramedic, surrounded by classmates, instructors, and later colleagues who knew me only for the uniform I wore and the emergencies I responded to. Beneath that surface, however, I was living another reality, one tied to a network so hidden, so carefully structured, that even speaking its name aloud outside of their circle felt dangerous. The network reminded me often of the importance of silence. They would say things like, "Your words could collapse entire timelines. Guard them well." And I understood. Revealing even the smallest piece of truth to someone unprepared could shift the way they saw not only me, but reality itself. But the cost of silence was not only external, it was deeply personal. There were nights when I wanted nothing more than to tell a close friend about what I was really doing, or to confide in a loved one why I was so often distant, distracted, or absent. But I couldn't. I carried the weight of knowledge alone, and that loneliness cut deeper than I expected. Working in EMS gave me a cover that few questioned. Odd shifts, unpredictable hours, and the movement from town to town explained my irregular schedule. Friends assumed I was busy with work, and when I disappeared for a few days on an assignment, I could always point to an out-of-town training or emergency posting. It was the perfect disguise, but even perfect disguises have cracks. Sometimes, in quiet moments, when I was tending to patients or sitting in the ambulance waiting for a call, I felt a strange overlap between my human profession and my hidden mission. Healing, protecting, being placed exactly where I needed to be, often at precise moments that defied coincidence. It was as though both lives, the one visible and the one concealed, were working together to shape the outcome of events in ways no one around me could see. Yet the question always haunted me, was the silence worth it? Every time I doubted, the network reminded me of the stakes. They told me, in ways both subtle and direct, that if I revealed too much, I could endanger not only myself, but also countless others whose lives intersected with mine. My mission, they said, was not about personal comfort. It was about preserving the balance of something much larger than myself. And so I remained silent. I wore my uniform, saved lives, played my role, and carried my secret deeper into the new millennium. But the longer I stayed on Earth, the more I began to wonder, when would the silence finally end? Because every mission, no matter how hidden, eventually demands a voice.